Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we're going to have fun with the Christians who recently debated some Muslims regarding Tawheed versus Trinity. And I'll have this beautiful Muslim kid to refute all of their lies. We don't need our scholars to deal with them. Our Muslim kids are enough for these people. So inshallah, let's start refuting all of their lies about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His attributes. So without wasting any time, let's watch the clips and come back.
That according to our friend here, this is his belief. Allah has, well, he wouldn't use the term body parts. I don't want to misrepresent him. Allah has a foot. He has a shin. He even has loins. And he has at least two eyes, if not more, and two right hands. Now, for the life of me, if Allah is the creator of the heavens and the earth, how does he exist as an embodied being without him dwelling in space? Because if he's atemporal and he's timeless, that means his God supposedly exists when there was no time, space, and place. But if you have a foot and you have a shin and you have two right hands, I don't know what happened to the left one, but we'll get into that. Two right hands, at least two eyes. In fact, the Arabic says three or more, but we'll get into that. Then that means his God is an embodied being who is temporal and finite, which means that his God did not create all space or place and time because there's a space that his body parts need to occupy in order for him to be his God. So the problem is actually worse for Daniel than for us. So he's going to have to explain, how is it that he's a polytheist, pagan, masquerading as a monotheist? Because what he just told you is not anchored in the Quran or the authentic Sunnah of Muhammad. So good luck in trying to defend your rational Salafi anthropomorphism.
Did you notice the contradiction? If you didn't catch it, let's listen again to what he said in the beginning and how he contradicted himself at the end.
That according to our friend here, this is his belief. Allah has, well, he wouldn't use the term body parts. I don't want to misrepresent him. So good luck in trying to defend your rational Salafi anthropomorphism.
In the beginning, he said he would not misrepresent him and acknowledge that Daniel doesn't believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has body parts. And then he contradicted himself by claiming that he believes in an anthropomorphistic understanding of God. No honesty and no integrity. But before we refute this guy, let's check if the attributes he mentioned about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are accurate or not, because before Muslims can go and debate these people about religious issues, they should first know what they are talking about.
Allah has a foot.
Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a foot, and we are not shy to affirm it and believe in it. Anas bin Malik radiallahu anhu reported that Allah's Apostle sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that the hell would continue to say, "Is there anything more?" until Allah the Exalted and High would place His foot therein, and that would say, "Enough, enough by your honor," and some part of it would draw close to the other. And anybody who claims that the foot of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like our foot is a kafir, disbeliever. Just wait, the Muslim child will make sure to clear all of the doubts regarding the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
He has a shin.
Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a chin. Beware of the day the chin of Allah will be bared and the wicked will be asked to prostrate, but they will not be able to do so. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself confirmed in the Quran that he has a chin, and anybody who rejects what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala confirmed about himself, his problem is not with me or the people of the Sunnah. His problem is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wal iyadu billah. And remember, anybody who claims that the chin of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like our chin is a kafir, disbeliever.
He even has loins.
The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam confirmed that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a haqu. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: خلق الله الخلق فلما فرغ منه قامت الرحم فأخذت بحق الرحمن فقال لها ما. According to al-Ma'ani, al-haqu is al-khasr, which is translated in English as the waist, but al-haqu is also translated as loins. That's why I always prefer to mention the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Arabic language rather than English. And anybody who believes that al-haqu of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like our haqu is a kafir, disbeliever.
And he has at least two eyes, if not more, and two right hands.
Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has two eyes, and anybody who rejects that is a misguided person fallen into disbelief. Narrated Anas radiallahu anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Allah did not send any prophet but that he warned his nation of the one-eyed liar ad-Dajjal. He is one-eyed while your Lord is not one-eyed. The word kafir, unbeliever, is written between his two eyes. And to confirm that your Lord is not one-eyed means two eyes, let's go to شرح أصول اعتقاد أهل السنة والجماعة من الكتاب والسنة of الإمام اللالكائي رحمه الله, volume 2, page 65. سياق ما دل من كتاب الله عز وجل وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم على أن من صفات الله عز وجل الوجه والعينين واليدين. Text from the book of Allah, may he be glorified and exalted, and the sunnah of his messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم, which indicates that the attributes of Allah, may he be glorified and exalted, include the face, the two eyes, and the two hands. There is a consensus among the scholars of Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah on affirming that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has two eyes. Again, anybody who claims that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's eyes are like our eyes is a kafir disbeliever. And also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has two hands. And the Jews say, the hand of Allah is chained. Chained are their hands, and cursed are they for what they say. Rather, both his hands are extended, he spends however he wills. And I repeat and I say, whoever claims that the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are like our hands is a kafir disbeliever.
So good luck in trying to defend your rational Salafi anthropomorphism.
Just imagine a person who literally believes that God Almighty is a human being is trying to claim that we believe in anthropomorphism. What a joke.
Yeah, Daniel, I want to hear from your own mouth. The yad of Allah, is it a metaphor for his power?
It can be a metaphor for his power. It can be interpreted in many different ways. It does not contradict. It does not contradict Tawheed. It does not contradict monotheism.
Yes, it does.
And I will also say, yes, it does. Affirming the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also part of Tawheed. We believe in Tawheed Uluhiyya, Tawheed Rububiyyah, and Tawheed al-Asma' wa Sifat. We believe what it says in the Quran and the Sunnah without ta'wil, misrepresentation, or تمثيل, likening Allah to his creation, and without any tahrif, distortion of the meaning, or تعطيل, denying the names and attributes. Anyone who denies the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah is a kafir disbeliever. So how can a disbeliever also be considered a muwahhid? It doesn't make any sense. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has two hands, two real hands. And if hand means power, then we Muslims will be in a big trouble. Allah asked, O Iblis, what prevented you from prostrating to what I created with my own hands? Did you just become proud, or have you always been arrogant? If hands here is just metaphorical and doesn't actually mean real hands and means power, then Iblis can turn around and say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but you also created me by your power just like Adam. Did you see the problem? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored our beloved Prophet Adam alayhi salam by creating him with his own hands. And this is the correct understanding. And the word used for hands in Arabic in the Quran is yaday, and it's in the mutanna form, meaning two hands. So does that mean Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam with his two powers? I'm sorry, but this misguided understanding doesn't make any sense. Alhamdulillah for the sunnah. That's why learning the correct aqidah is essential before calling anybody to Islam. Let's now go and give our Muslim champion the chance to demolish the arguments of every single Christian who lies about Islam and the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
من ربك؟
الله.
ما دينك؟
الإسلام.
من نبيك؟
محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.
ما كتابك؟
القرآن.
أين الله؟
في السماء مستوى على العرش.
ما الدليل على ذلك؟
الرحمن على العرش استوى.
ما معنى استوى؟
أي علا وارتفع.
ما أعظم عبادة؟
التوحيد.
ما معنى التوحيد؟
لا إله إفراد الله بالعبادة.
ما أعظم معصية؟
الشرك.
ما هو الشرك؟
عبادة غير الله مع الله.
ما هي كلمة التوحيد؟
لا إله إلا الله.
ما معنى لا إله إلا الله؟
لا معبود بحق إلا الله.
لماذا خلقنا الله؟
نعبده وحده لا شريك له.
كم عدد أركان الإسلام؟
5.
ما هي؟
شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمد رسول الله، إقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة وحج البيت ما استطاع إليه سبيلا وصوم رمضان.
هل لله أسماء وصفات؟
نعم.
هل أسماء الله وصفاته تشبه أسماءنا وصفاتنا؟
لا.
ما الدليل على ذلك؟
ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير.
Whenever you read anything about the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just remember this beautiful verse. There is nothing like him, for he alone is the all-hearing, all-seeing. Subhanallah, this beautiful Muslim kid has a purer aqidah than any of those who claim to be Muslims and debate Christians and give da'wah, yet they are lost in philosophy. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from such misguidance and keep us upon the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam according to the understanding of the Salaf. And subhanallah, this is exactly what happened during the recent debate of Brother Muhammad. Made one Christian quit and made the other look like a joke.
To say that we say that Allah is not like anyone and we have an attribute, he has an attribute, therefore he is like us. No, we believe, for instance, our knowledge is limited, is dependent on Allah. We don't know the future. We forget the knowledge of Allah is ultimate. He knows the past, present, and future. He knows hypothetical situations. So it's not the same. So when we say it's not like it, then it is not like it because God's knowledge is perfect and our knowledge is limited. And that is the same with all of the attributes of God. The way Allah possesses them is perfect. The way we possess them is not. An attribute is something that does not exist in abstract, it exists within something, and that something remains one. Nobody says that having attributes makes you more than one. I have love, compassion, hate, fear, all of that. No one says, therefore, I'm 100 or 200 because I have different attributes.
10 seconds.
That's just ridiculous.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless Brother Muhammad Ali. He did an amazing job during both the debates, and this is how it should be. And I said this on my X account. I just watched Brother Muhammad destroy 2 Christians back to back. Why did he win? Simply because he refused to engage in philosophical mumbo jumbo and kept it Quran and Sunnah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him for his amazing work and bless his da'wah. This is how we Muslims win every single debate. We just confirm what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala confirmed about himself, and we don't care if the non-Muslims accept it or not.
Their best debaters struggle to form a coherent, concise answer to any of your questions. Brother, mashallah, explanations can be read to an amen. They understand perfectly. Great. Jazakallah khair. Barakallah fiqh. This is the thing. It's about making it simple because the truth is simple. And they hate simplicity. They just want to just make rhetoric, philosophical rhetoric, just some nonsense, and then try to avoid the truth and answering and responding to simple questions. Because people get lost in the details, and that's what they want. They want to confuse the audience in the details.
I advise any Muslim watching this video to learn his religion and the correct aqidah before arguing or debating with any non-Muslim online or in real life. Learning the basics of Tawheed is essential because without knowledge, you may end up rejecting something during a debate that is part of the religion unknowingly, or uttering statements of kufr without realizing it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from all forms of misguidance. I hope you benefited from this video and enjoyed the explanation by the amazing Muslim kid. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him and protect him from the evil eye. And you can also watch this video about how anime made him leave Islam. Not the child, another person. And don't forget to subscribe to not miss any future uploads. Thank you for watching. Assalamu alaikum.